That's it. It says you're live. Hello, Mr. Ed here on February the 1st, 2025, the first Saturday of the month visit, chat, and updates. Good morning, Easy Reader. Dennis Barney. Oh, look at that. You're the first member to join in, Dennis. Thank you so much. And good morning to you, too. So, what are we going to be talking about today? Well, let's see. We got a couple other people waiting out there. I know. Um, let's see. It's already 17 people watching. Awesome. I'm going to mess this up. Wooblings B, good morning. Look at that. Brian, good morning from Brian Baker's B up in Denham Springs, Louisiana. Now, I know my buddy Lee up there. In fact, Lee came. Oh, Deborah, you made it early. Good morning. Hey, what's the temperature up there right now, Deborah? You got to be in the, I don't know, 20s. Sherry Chain, look at that. We got three members now, Sherry, Deborah, and Dennis, all with us already. Good morning. Good morning, Frankie. Christy H. Good morning from Nebraska. Oh, look, the first blessing. Thank you, Christy. Thank you. There's Dr. Bruce again. Good morning, everyone. That's from Grayson over at Wildwood Honeybees in Alabama. Linda from Kentucky, good morning. Phil, good morning, Phil, another member. Let's see, Anderway Living from the K. I don't know where the K. Jared Doucette, another member. Good morning, Jared. It is 39 degrees and the sun just broke the horizon. That's in Montana. SFB Ranch. Good morning from Oklahoma. Ooh, we got something from Oklahoma today. Deb Brown, good morning. Also from Kentucky. Wooblings B from Kentucky. Peter Stuckey, good morning, Peter. And he's from Little Rock, Arkansas. Tony Hutchinson from Kentucky. Mike Farmer from Ohio, good morning. Flower Street Farm Bees from Colorado, good morning. Jack and Danette, good morning. Wow, you guys. James Miller from Iowa. JW Soapstone Farms Honeybees. I thought you were in Alabama. No, I'm not in Alabama. That's Mike and that's world famous Mike Barry and Joey Riles. They're in Alabama. I think they're coming home today. Peter Stuckey on the road to Memphis today. Oh my goodness. Well, that's not too far a ride for you. Elsie Jobere from South Africa. Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning, Elsie. No Life Beekeeper, James. No, I'm gonna have to join your group, James. I know y'all got some lively beekeepers in your group. Joanne Edson, good morning. What is the temperature there? It's 40 something here. Right now, I just looked, it was 49 outside because Mona just asked me. Was Tad cooler here in the Ozark, the 35 in the hills? Wow, that's cold. Good morning from Washington State, Lester. Good morning. Lil Klondike, James, good morning. Ricky Yeldell, good morning. Ricky, I think you're from Alexandria. Is that where I know you're up north Louisiana. I know that. Rom 65536 from Northern Kentucky here. I hope your weather isn't too crazy down there. No, it's not. It's calmed down. Now, give me shelter. Jose from Valencia, Spain. Oh my goodness. Robert Hilliard, another member join us. Good morning from Denton, Texas. Let me, there you go. How's that, Dr. Bruce? Thank you for letting me know that. Western, I knew you were in Australia, Phil. Good morning, Big Rod 100. Dennis, I didn't know you were in Texas. Richard Gross, 10 degrees here. We've had below zero. Oof, that's terrible. Brett Ellis, good morning. Rick Warner, good morning to you. 62 in Florida, Rick. Yeah. Well, we're going to hit, I think, almost 70 this morning. Calm Hadley from Dublin, Ireland. Wow, we got them from Africa, Ireland, the UK, Spain. Maybe we'll even get somebody from Brazil or Venezuela. Sometimes they drop in. Central Wyoming, 7 degrees. Gee. Richard Briner. Say hi, Mr. Ed here. Hello, Mr. Ed here. So for those that watched the video that I posted yesterday, it was the intro of a lot of the people that work here in the casket operation. They all did a hello, Mr. Ed here. It was pretty funny. But the video that I posted yesterday, as well as that introduction, the video was from 2018 and the introduction was from 2016. So we all looked a little bit younger in those days. So I know we were last month. I was asking, and everybody, I love knowing what the temperature is outside where you are. And last month, I asked everybody to tell me their temperatures and where they are. But this month, I got a letter, I don't know, 2 or 3 or 4 days ago, from some. Good morning, Sean. Joey Bag of Donuts. Did Charlie survive the blizzard? Yep, Charlie did, and so did the bees. In fact, that's what I want to say it before I go on. The thumbnail for this live broadcast is a picture of the beehives at my house in Abita Springs. So we got about 8 inches of snow, if you can believe that, snow in Louisiana. About 8 inches of snow at our house. Here at the Abbey, it was closer to a foot. They had some 3-foot high drifts over here. They really got a lot of snow up here. And the whole time it snowed, I stayed at the house with Mona. We we were just cooking soup and just having a great time. I slept. I caught up on all my sleep. That was just wonderful. It was really a good time. 3 days of staying at the house. In fact, our electricity went out within, I don't know, as soon as it started snowing, boom, our electricity went out and stayed out for, I don't know, a couple of hours. But it didn't matter. The generator kicked on, so it didn't matter. But it did go out. So let's see, 25 to 30 was of. I can't make it out, Brett. My wife would love the quilt behind you. Oh, let's look at that. Look at that quilt, huh? Let me see if I can bring I can't move that computer. But one thing, Simona made the quilt, and she always likes to say, Jeff, make sure you point out all the embroidered honeybees all on it, and all out through the whole quilt. She's got these little honeybees that she embroidered on there. In fact, since I'm talking about the quilt, I had a visit from actually it's from two people, J.W. Irwin and Tom Sossman. They came and visited about a week or so ago. And when he was here, Tom and his wife, Melissa, have a YouTube channel, Via Honeybees. And he wrote a tag, or what do I call these things? A hexie. And these will then go up on the quilt, someplace up on the quilt. So the quilt is all YouTube personalities that I'm friends with. So Tom and Melissa's are going to be going up there. Oh, I was going to say something else. Let me see what some of these comments are. And it's Josiah from Manarukia Beekeeping in New Zealand. Having the worst season since 2019 this year. Talk about a dearth. Looks like I'll be feeding the girls for the first time this winter. Ooh, that's terrible, Phil. Terrible. James says it's 45 here in Middle Tennessee. Enjoy the. Oh yeah, we got the $1 million check. I got it somewhere over here. Jay Milhan, good morning. Gary Stewart. Easy reader. Let's see. Says your sweatshirt is nice too. That's another Mona creation right there. She made one for me, Charlie, and Wreck-It Ralph. Actually, uh, we each got two of them. She made one of them green and one of them is gray. So we each got two of them. Thank you, baby. That's really nice. It really is. Tiggy Bud from Boise, Idaho. It's 37 and raining. Ugh. Sarten Porquino. Greetings from Mexico. All right. D. Lila 26. I just jumped on here to say I'm jealous of that. Well, I don't really like my hair long. I like it short, but what I really like less is cold weather, and it really does keep my head warm. So I'm going to keep it on, keep it long until until it warms up in a couple more weeks, and then we'll get rid of it. But for right now, I'm going to keep it on. Good morning, Lee. You're going to tell us about the letter? Oh, yeah. Loma Vista Bees, good morning. White paint in the hair? No, that's all. That's all white from worrying. Good morning, Ned, another member. Let's see. Flower Street Farms, 38 now, high of 57 today in Lakewood, Colorado. Galloway Lights, good morning. When are we going to discuss chickens on this channel? No, we don't talk chickens, but I do talk about the rooster every once in a while. Getting slammed by wasps in my car. Somebody else had told me about that too, Josiah, that the yellow jackets and the wasps in Australia are really, really bad this year. So I guess even north of Australia, they're bad as well. Mr. Ed, when will you be doing your splits? So it'll be, I start mid-February, I start going out and looking. So between mid-February and mid-March, hopefully by the middle of March, I'm going to be finished. So that'll be next month's discussion, but it's gonna be a busy one this year for sure. Phil says, at least I have hair. Yep, I guess so. So one of the guys here, Deacon Mark, he's actually he oversees the whole operation. He's bald, and he said, "When are you going to get a haircut?" And I said, "When it gets warm." And he said, "Well, mine won't ever grow out like that." And I said, "I know it won't, because you can't. I can. Mine can grow that long." Raceland is 57 degrees, and the bees are flying. Oh, they're flying here at the Abbey too. Looking for drone sales? Not yet. It's still too early out for us. It's not gonna. It's still too early for drones. Big Rog 100 said he lost 2 hives this year. I don't. It's terrible losing bees, but it's definitely part of keeping bees. So I want to get a little action from all you people. So my inspiration came from a letter that I got, that I'll be showing it later. But on the back of it, she wrote a joke. So that what I want y'all to do, don't go to your computer and ask for the jokes, but she wrote a joke, and that's what we want to do. So tell me your best bee joke that you know. Hers is, why, see, it's right there. Why did the bee get married? And the answer is, because he wanted to be with his honey. Tell me your best bee joke, and I'll read them out as they're coming up. Good morning, Russ. Deborah Knobber, Jeff, Mona needs to start making merch. No, she don't. She's too busy making quilts. She doesn't want to do that. 29 in Central Indiana, and I'm bald. Oh, you better wear a hat. Good morning, Terry. You get some snow. Oh yeah, look at the Hey Terry, look at the thumbnail for this live broadcast. Shows you my my bees with the snow on them, just like the first one you sent me. Oh, Bruce, Dr. Bruce, who's bee favorite singer? Sting. Man, so I know, and here's Brett says he got 18 inches nests, nasty. No lie beekeeper James Noel. I make up for my lack of hair with a healthy beard. sometimes I used to let my beard get like that big, but I just keep it trimmed nowadays. Deborah Neighbor, quilts too. Well, Mona has got the other quilt that she made for the honey house, and it's in the honey house. And it's just an absolutely gorgeous one. And when I get over there to show the labels, which will be in a video coming up soon, I will be showing that off. Good morning, Bill Barnes. And Terry says, and Terry's up in Maine. He said it got 4 inches of snow this morning. Russ says, why do bees dance? To be groovy. My beard is almost as awesome as Leland's. I don't know who Leland Scalers is. Tammy Pollock, hello from Ontario, Canada. Minus 17 to minus 29 with the windshield. Woo, woo. Watching warms me up a bit. Yeah, not too much though. When is the Mr. Ed merch store opening? No, Mr. Ed's not going to be doing merch. I'm sorry. It's just not anything that I have any desire to do. So don't expect any Mr. Ed merch. But one way to get merch from Mr. Ed is all you have to do is come wrangle bees with me enough, and pretty soon, when you become part of the team, you'll get your merch. What do you tell a naughty drone? Behave. Good one, Sean. Good one. Leland Schuyler is America's, and the world's foremost bass player. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that. Gary Stewart says, send me a ticket. All right. Vincent Sable says, hello, Mr. Ed from Northeast Ohio. So the thumbnail on the video on this video is showing our my bee boxes at the house, and I only have 3 of them over there. Oh, here's one. Why do queens date in the winter? No mates. My husband has the best beard. Of course he does. I forgot what I was going to say. So James says Mona's going to need a lot of material for Muscle Man Brian. Yeah, this is the truth. That guy, he's not only a muscle man, he's a mountain man. I think he's like 6'6". I think he makes me look like a little kid. So the thumbnail is from our yard, and we did get a bunch of snow, and I think the last time it snowed was probably about 8 or 9 years ago. In fact, I made a video of it. Smoking Joe from the New Jersey shore, 40 degrees and wet. Brian's a unit. And so it was just really an interesting time, those 3 days. But I was happy to come back up to the Abbey and start getting back to work. So what I want to, come on, I want to see some jokes. I mean, all you got to do is go to your phone. I know that. Oh yeah, so I can talk about that. So because I started to, about a week ago, I had some visitors come up and visit me. Like I told you, it was Tom Sussman and J.W. Irwin, and also who came up was Lee from Kodiak Farm Bees. He came up, as well as Joey Riles, and we spent the whole day just fooling around with bee stuff here at the Abbey. In fact, then we even took a ride in the back and looked at the bees back there. It was a beautiful day. It was cold, so we didn't open up any hives, but it was a great day, great visit. And Tom is up in St. Louis, and JW is in Illinois. No, he's in Indiana. I think Indiana. So they took a road trip and came on down and visited with me, and it was a great time. That's the one I was going to say, Jack. Where did Noah keep his bees? In the archives. Yeah, Illinois. JW is from Illinois. Thank you, Lee. Acantilia. What do you call a bee with messy hair? A frisbee. Mary Barnett, good morning. Barrett from the UK. Love the sweatshirt that Moan embroidered. She is very talented. Oh yes, she just finished up a quilt that we put on our bed. Let me see. Let me see if I can find that picture. She she just finished it up last week, and she put it on the bed. And I'm trying to find it. Give me a second. I know I got it in here. You know how it is looking for pictures, but I don't see it. Oh well. I don't see it. I don't see it. Oh look, but I did see this. Look at this. This just came up when I used to. Everybody knows I was a mailman, right? Well, this was in the local newspaper back in the early '80s, and this is a picture of me casing mail. And I really look at that. It's in black and white, but I really did have red hair back in those days. Sorry, Moan, I couldn't show on the quilt. It's absolutely a stunning quilt, the one that she just finished. Matthew Pogue watching while painting supers this morning in Tennessee. Well, that is a terrible job. I'm sorry. Look at that, Okie Rob. Okie, I hope things are doing good over there. I don't get to see any of your videos anymore, so maybe you'll be able to post in some. No life beekeeper, James. No, my beard is 5 times the size of. Well, I know I've got older videos where my beard is at least that long. So right now, it's short. It's going to be short. Deborah Knobber, my grandpa used to say this to us when we were little. He was a German immigrant. What am dat on your nose, honey? And he would expect the answer, dat am not honey, dat am snout. Lynn's backyard. What type of bee gives milk? A booby bee. What do you call a bee that lives in America? A U.S. bee. Let the fuzz break free. All right, okay. Let me see if I can collect my thoughts here. Jason Erb from Pennsylvania. Where's the dirt rooster? Well, Jason, I'm sure that he is. If he is awake, he'll be joining us. If he's awake, it's 9:24. It's still pretty early for him, so it won't be for a while yet. But I think he'll be showing up. So how about besides Bill B jokes, you can also ask me questions that I might be able to answer. Not necessarily, but possibly. Bill Krulek, Impossible Dream Farm, Bakewell, Tennessee. Good morning. Justin McKinley, happy Saturday. 67 and damp in Central Florida. Ooh, gearing up for the citrus flow in a couple of weeks. Bruce Comiskey says, Janet says, what's more amazing than a talking dog? A spelling bee. Any thoughts on giving a multi-part YouTube training class, step by step on how you do bees? Man, as interesting as you might think that might be for me, I don't think I do lessons all that well. The only thing I really um, do as far as bee stuff is the splits, and I do every year. I do several videos on splitting our hives, using the double screen dividing board and the whole process, and then inserting them, going back 10 days later, showing you what I have. So it's really that's really the only thing I do, since I don't um, inspect our hives. I don't treat. I don't do anything except set them up and then go collect honey when it's time. So I don't know. I thought about doing some kind of step stuff, but I leave that stuff mostly up to world famous Mike Barry, because Mike really does a great job of talking about what as a beekeeper should be doing at this time of year here in Louisiana. He does a great job on it. So I defer to him and his knowledge, and he's really good at it. So anybody really who wants to, particularly if you live in the southern U.S., Louisiana, Arkansas, Tennessee. Well, not Tennessee, but Texas, Mississippi. Down south, though, Mike Barry's got some really great videos showing what's going on in the hives at that particular time. How many pounds of honey will you harvest this year? Well, I'm actually hoping to still maintain about the same, somewhere between 400 and 500 gallons. I need 400 gallons to supply the gift shop their honey all year round. So if I get more than 400, 500, that would be fine too. Okie Rob says, us night owls don't get up early. Just ask the 628. Oh, I know he doesn't. Randy doesn't go to bed sometimes till 2 o'clock in the morning. So I know me, I'm in bed almost every night at 8 o'clock. How many pounds of honey? Let's see. How do you cope with bee loss during hurricanes and floods? It's the natural disaster losses. You can't ever account for those. And when it happens, you just have to you just have to bounce back, because I went through the flood here and I started from zero and built them back up. It's just a matter of diligence, really, and persistence in building the number of bees back up. And there's all kinds of ways to do it. I did it through mainly by doing cutouts. That's how I started the apiaries, and then grew them from splits and swarm catches, that kind of stuff. I would like to see a video on splits using the Apiary hives. So I will. So I do have one Apiary hive, and I will be splitting it this year. So I'll do a video on making that split, because when I do that split, and I had to do it differently, since I only have one Apiary and I only have two deep supers, I actually have to transfer frames into another box and move that box off. I'll do a video on the Apiary this year, because it is pretty interesting. At least I thought it was. And plus, there's always the chance of finding the queen, and I usually will find her I did last year when I moved it out. And it turned out when I split that Apiary last year, I actually pulled a box of honey off of the both hives, both the splits, the old queen and the new queen. So I got that. I love my Apiary hive. I really do. Good morning, Doris. Charlie Carnell. How would a person set up a visit if they were to be in your area? So the best way to do is contact me, which is prior to your visit, so that we can schedule, make sure that I'm going to be here at the Abbey when you come. So that's really the best thing to do is contact me, and it's easy to contact me. My my contact information is, if you go to the channel, my email address is there, as well as the address here at the Abbey. So contact me, and we can make sure that it happens, because it's always a pleasure to have people come visit. Smoking Joe, in 2022, you did 4,200 pounds total, 8 pound a frame. Yeah, that was a good year, but our best was 6,000 pounds. Mr. Ed, did I notice in your video you posted yesterday that you let the queen go in the box, right? Yep, I did. So also in that video yesterday, that video was shot in 2018. So I do not release the queen like that anymore. I caged the queen. I got lucky on that, because you saw at the end when I released her, she flew up, and I was able to push her back down into the box. So now I keep her caged up at least 2 days, and then I'll go back and turn her loose. It's you learn as you go, and that was one of the big things that I learned. I don't turn her loose right away anymore. Do you still have the horizontal hive? If so, how's it doing? I have uh, um, I have 2 horizontals, and none of them have bees in them right now. However, both of those hives will be set up this year with swarms that I catch, and you can be assured that there will be videos on both of those putting in. So the long hive that I had at my house in Abita, I brought it back up here, and that is now going to be going inside of the peacock pen. And the long hive, the lay-ins long hive, that will it's still on the back porch of the honey house, and those bees died. I made a video on that, and I will be putting another swarm into that this year. 4 to 6 hours of sleep every day. Ooh, that's not enough for me. I need 6 minimum. Chelsea Leonard, good morning. Yeah, Chelsea says, please give a thumbs up. Mr. Ed asks, please hit that thumbs up there on that. Generate a little bit of algorithm going for me, please. Castle Hive, good morning. Will you ever be famous like Mike Barry? There is no chance. He's world famous. I'm just Mr. Ed. Mike has got everything covered. What did the bee say to the baby flower? Hey, bud. Cyril Gayton, Miguel from Buffalo. Good morning, Miguel. Backhoe Bucket. Good morning. How is the open air colony doing in the box? Ooh, I'm glad you asked that, Lee. So I'm still working on it, but the video that I post, not next Friday, but the Friday next after, I'm building another box for the open air colony. And that one is going to be, it's a observation box. So I've got 2 big panels of tempered glass, 30 by 32 inch, that will be placed on both sides, so that we can watch the open air colony that is now in a box. So stay tuned for that video, because that video is coming up. And also on that same video, it's going to be 2 things. I'm going to show the open air colony and its observation hive. Good morning, Brian Martyr from Wisconsin, as he's wearing his winter socks. As well as I'm going into the honey house and show all of the labels of the wall. And boy, the wall is looking really, really awesome. And that way, those that have sent me labels, you can see here. I'll do something to give a little bit more time, just instead of just passing the camera by, that you all can see your individual labels on the wall. And I'm really anxious to do that. In fact, Charlie already said he's going to come over and shoot that video when we do that. So it's going to be a good video, because Charlie's going to be shooting it. Peter Stuckey, wait. You have people on this live from all over the country and from South Africa, Spain, Ireland, and the UK. You aren't world famous? No, 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 no. I, I'm just trying to get my foot in the door, Peter. It was amazing to me just how large that open air colony was. It 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 was very large. It actually was not quite as large as that one that Charlie and I had done last year in that pasture up in Franklinton or Folsom. That hive was it was a mammoth, and I know the thumbnail for that one almost looks like it was photoshopped, but it really was my face right next to that hive, and that hive was just a monster hive. But trust me, the one that's going to go in that observation box, it's probably a 2.5 foot. Yeah, it's about 2.5 foot tall. It's big, pretty big, and I'm going to be feeding those bees because they need to get fed. Great thing you got that open air colony saved before. Yeah, I agree that we pulled that open air colony out of that tree, and it was the next week that we got that blizzard came down. And there's no way with as much wind and snow that we got with that, it would have destroyed the comb and blown the bees. That colony wouldn't have been there anymore. That's the problem with open air colonies. Um, uh, that they're so exposed to the elements and wind particularly. When those limbs start moving, and it'll just tear that comb out, and the hive will just disintegrate. I've seen one open air colony in Baton Rouge a couple of years ago. This thing was monstrous, and it was built on the Mississippi River Bridge, and that thing, it what happens in the summertime, it gets so hot, and there's no support structure to that, just the weight of it, just like in a long hive, the weight of the comb, it starts getting soft, and the weight of it, the comb just starts breaking off, and that's often the demise of these open air colonies. We had one at uh, Louisiana State University in New Orleans, same thing, big one on one of their buildings, and it just disintegrated just from the weight in the summertime. They're as beautiful as they are. They're very, very, very susceptible to just disintegrating, just being exposed to the elements. Mr. Ed is world famous. No, Puerto Rico. Now we got from Puerto Rico, Finca Rosa. Okie Rob says they had 12 inches of snow in Oklahoma before you got the winter blast. Yeah, I know it came from west because Mona's family is out in Canton, in Texas, and right by Houston. And boy, they were getting hammered as well. Amber Smith. Oh, thank you, Amber. Thank you very much for the blessings. That reminded me of something else I wanted to say. Uh, I haven't been keeping up with the jokes. Let's see. Let me see. All right. All right. So, how about let me say this before I forget, because I'm going to forget. In Do you think 8 frames or 10 frames is more natural? In trees, they say bees don't make 10 comb layers. What I found is um, a normal hive is about 7 or 8 is about normal. But then the longer a hive is there and they just continue building, where they can get 8 feet long. I've had them 8 feet, 10 feet long, but normally 8. That's a good number. I know in long hives, and Charlie has pointed this out as well as Joey, that it's really the first 10 frames. They're not going to lay brood past that 10 frames, 10, 11 frames. After that, it's all going to be honey behind it. So, that I don't know a lot about it, but that's just my understanding of it. Well, I have to throw my aging bones at the bed. Thanks so much, Ed, Phil, and enjoy your little sleep tonight. Look at that, Bryce. We got 3 inches of fluff this morning, and he's up in Maine, and not in Maine. Yeah, in Maine. Pauline Evans, greetings again from the Netherlands and from Neath in South Wales. Look at that. I love the taste of honey, and it amazes me how the taste can vary so much. Have you ever collected a swarm and the honey tasted terrible? Well, swarms never have honey, but I've actually collected cutouts, and the honey it wasn't very good. Look at that, Heidi Polson from Denmark. Good morning, Karen. Good morning. Glad to have you this morning. Have I ever raised queens? The only queens I raise are swarm cells. I don't do any of that. I allow our bees to make their own queens, and I'll use those queens. Susan Alexander from Mississippi. How did you and Ramona meet? She was actually a viewer of my channel, and that's how she and I met, was through that association, through the YouTube. So thank you, YouTube, and thank you, Jesus. New Hampshire. Thank you, Bryce. Is splitting the only thing you do for swarm control? It is. That's the only thing I do. And the other thing for swarm control is, getting the swarm out of the tree. That that's the other thing. If I don't like doing it that way. When spacing 9 frames in a honey super to build the comb out, should you still use 10 frames in the brood box? For sure. In the brood box, you keep 10 in there. And my experience, if you put 9 frames in for the honey super, you better have drawn comb in it, because if you don't, they'll build funny comb in there. So if you're going to use 9 frames, you either have to checkerboard them or use 9 drawn frames, and then you'll get that really, really thick honeycomb. And I know Mike Barry is world famous. Mike Barry has told me that you will actually get more honey per pound in a 9 frame box than a 10 frame box. And I believe it. I believe it. Why do some beekeepers kill the swarm cells? Well, it's one way of controlling or preventing the hive from swarming. It's not guaranteed. In fact, early on when I was doing it, I used to kill swarm cells. Now I take the very swarm cells that I was killing, I'd cut them out, and I'll go put those cells into other hives to split them. So it's all a beekeeper's choice. I don't do that anymore, but I did used to. Think of, well, I can understand using eight frame boxes, especially with the rotator cuff. Both of mine, I had surgery on both of mine, and it's just tough. I know it's tough. We live in almost heaven, West Virginia. We are hillbillies. God first, then guns and gravy. Great, Amber. Yeah, depending on the construction of the building, the older buildings where you have your 2x spacing is wider, or sometimes even below windows or above doors where there is no framing, it's just double joist up. Those bees can build tremendous slabs of combs, and I've done several videos showing this just slabs of comb. What is your percentage of mean bees in your area? Well, I think my bees are somewhat aggressive, but then again, I don't go into our bees very often. But still, I find it's rare for me to smoke our bees. When I initially go in, I'll smoke them, but they calm down, and I don't really have mean bees. I don't think so. DC, good morning. Yeah, and it is. It's like it depends on the age of the construction of the building will depend on how that framing goes. So I like the older buildings because you get wider framing. Man, you're all busted up, Okie. You're all busted up. Do y'all repair the area after a cutout? It's rare for me to do it. Generally, that's left up to the homeowners. But I have done it at some time. Is your experience that the Demare method works good to prevent swarming and the need to split hives? Well, it 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 it's a method and it does work, but it's a lot more work than using a double screen dividing board. That I do know for sure. Thank you, DC. I'm really looking forward to doing my splits and using that double screen dividing board. On a cutout, have you ever seen honey on the bottom of the brood? No, no, it's always around it. I've never really seen. I can't say never. If there is some under it, it's nothing significant, but it's generally just that arch shape around the brood. Good enough backyard beekeeping. Good morning from Connecticut. Do you charge for cutouts? I do now because that really the money that we do charge goes to the operation of our honey operation here at the Abbey. So in a way that income just goes to buy equipment because I go through a lot of equipment. In fact, I'm going to buy another hive lift um, for this next year. I want to have two of them of the dolly lifts to go get our boxes. The I'm changing things up. The big boom that was on that trailer is now going to be mounted permanently in the ground. I'll probably make a video when we do this permanently in the ground in front of the honey house, and we're going to use that boom to offload our trailer, our honey supers. Our yards are not set up for me to take a trailer and run right next to the boxes and pull honey supers. So what we're going to be doing is I'll be putting, and I'll show this on the video. I'm going to be putting rollers on our trailer where we grab our honey supers with our dolly lifts and bring them over the trailer and just put them on the trailer on the rollers and shift them on that. So all that you'll see all that this year, and I'm anxious to do that operation, put all that stuff into practice. So should be pretty interesting to see that. And I do love sharing my ideas because I spend a lot of time, right before I go to sleep or while I'm sleeping, having these ideas coming into my head. Okay, and I will confess when I'm at prayer sometimes that these ideas just come into my head and I say that's a really good idea, and I'll implement the idea. And I always, especially when it's at prayer, I think, well, it's divine inspiration, so it's got to be a good idea. Oh, I can hardly wait to make these videos. And all my video, Charlie shoots almost all of the videos, and he and I have such a good time. Y'all might not know that, but he and I have such a good time when we're doing this stuff. Uh, and you all aren't as fortunate as me to get to spend a lot of time with Charlie because Charlie is just one funny guy. Morning, Jeff. That's Cryptid Cajun. Um, Bees at the animal sanctuary are doing fantastic. All right. Yeah. Okay. I know you used to be a bee man. Now you're a real farmer out there. Good morning, Tim. Kind of late joining us, huh? Where's Hannah? She going to be coming on? Doris Hanson, I really believe that is an excellent income for any church. the church members could get together and learn about bees and harvest honey for the community. Well, we're trying to get the monks more involved in this. In fact, one of the junior monks is actually working a little bit more with me, and hopefully that's going to work out in the long run. That we'll actually get a monk into the honey operation. Yes, I know that. Those are the bees we moved from my old farmhouse. Oh, that's awesome, Phil. That's awesome. So those are the bees we moved from my old farmhouse. Unfortunately, all those pine trees you saw with the pine beetles had to remove. And you had a lot of pine trees up there. So we did that removal. I think it's 2 years ago, huh, Phil, that we did that, and that was a beautiful beehive. We did it on the inside of his house. The walls were blue, and I know that many of y'all out there watching right now have seen that video. Blue walls, and the comb was slab comb, and it was huge, huge pieces of comb. But that blue wall and that white comb up against it, that contrast was beautiful. I'm happy to hear those bees are still doing well, Phil. Really good. Wreck-It Ralph, he's with us, but Ralph does a lot of other stuff. He's not retired like me and Charlie, so he can't be with us as much. But we already have plans for Ralph joining us, so just stay tuned. Oh, Hannah's with you, Tim. Great to have you, Hannah. I'm having bee withdrawals. Well, how cold is it up there, James? Because I tell you what, the our bees are flying right now. They're flying. Look at that. It's so wonderful that all of y'all, so many of y'all, know each other, and I know a lot of y'all are in the no life beekeepers, but y'all are a pretty tight knit group, aren't y'all? All right. So look, let me get to the part that I always do in these videos, and that's talk about the labels that I've received over the last month. Now, I have to admit that I went through my satchel, my book bag that I always carry around with me when I was at the Nabi, and I found a couple other labels. So I gotta show those. The first one is from Madison Apiaries in I'm going to say this right, Poughkeepsie, New York, and here is their label right there. Nice label. And the next one is from my buddy Tad Renastra. I know I didn't say that right, but Tad is he has the distinction of catching the most swarms out of anybody probably in the world. And the reason is because Tad lives in Hawaii, and because of that, man, I bet you Ted catches over 100 swarms every year. And here is Tad's honey label, Hula Girl Honey. He actually showed me the picture where this image came from. It really was a hula girl in the sunset behind her. Beautiful picture. And this is now his labels. Great looking label, Ted. Thank you for that. Now, those are the two that I didn't show last month. Joe Hamilton says, wait, Joe Hamilton says, when I retire from the military, I hope I can have bee farm. I hope so too, because I always say that the world needs as many beekeepers as it can get. Look at that. JW, let me see. Just want to thank you publicly for the 50-cent tour. JW, you got the $2 tour, because not only did JW get the tour, he actually had bought a I think it was a rosary from the gift shop, and I had to track down a monk priest and have it blessed so that he could give it to his wife to testify that he went to a Benedictine monastery. So JW was a wonderful, wonderful visit. Really was. I really enjoyed it. Alex, good morning from Canada. Shane Ziggy Bees, good morning. Amber Smith says, I've heard where bees are supposed to help veterans working with them to get their mind off trauma they've been through. Yep, for sure. So hives for heroes. In fact, there's several organizations that are dedicated to that specific purpose, where to help vets to get them through the hard times. So yeah, that is true. Pauline Evans, how has the recent cold weather in the United States affected your pollen flow? I don't know yet. Nothing's really. The only thing that we had blooming right now was our willow and our red maple, and I know the red maple got burned bad. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Good morning, Eddie Eve. Hey, Okie, why don't you call him up and wake him up? All right, so those were the labels that I got from the Nobby that I didn't show the last time. All right, Josiah, thank you for stopping by. All right, so this is the card with the joke on it. Remember, if you got jokes, send it. So this is from Carol and Brian Livingston. Here's the card that they sent. And she writes, Mr. Ed, sending every little good thought and wellness wish for you today. And she writes, enjoyed meeting you in person at the expo. That is just a highlight of my year, going to the expo and talking with so many people. It really is. It's just wonderful. And it's my pleasure meeting every one of you. Your answer to my question about advice to new beekeepers was the best. I offer a lot of advice to beekeepers, and I honestly don't remember what it was, but I think the one of the things that I always like to stress, particularly to new beekeepers, is that beekeeping is supposed to be fun. So you need to keep it fun, and because if it's fun, you're going to continue doing it. My husband and I have been working with bees for 2 years, and we just love it. Thank you for all you share about beekeeping. God bless, Carol and Brian Livingston. And here is the Livingston's honey label that will be soon going up into the honey house. 4-leaf bee yard from Fairfield, Missouri. I think MI is Missouri. Thank you. All right, let's see. Fire Tower honeybees. What size T-shirt do you wear? Large. Look at that. I told you. 628 Dirt Rooster is in the house. Did you call him up, Okie? I bet you did. All right, so look, everybody, 628 Dirt Rooster. Make sure you tell him hello. Randy. I had bees with pollen pants yesterday. All right. I haven't seen it yet. Look at that. Gary tells Randy hello. Amber says it hello. Don't get into beekeeping just to get honey. Oh, that's definitely, you don't want to do that. That's not a good enough reason. Brian Baker, good morning, Rooster. Castle Haas, Randy. All right, Randy, you're stealing the show. What do you got to say? Come on. What do you got to say, Dirt Rooster? What wisdom can you impart on us this morning? All the comments are about the Dirt Rooster. MI is Michigan. Thank you, Ronnie. And how's a mailman? I should know that stuff, you know. All right. So while everybody is telling Randy good morning, let me get on to some of these other labels. Now I know came and sent me a letter. It had 2 tears on it. Finding out why mail gets misrouted. Well, fortunately, they do that all by machine now. It doesn't. When I was doing it, we actually sorted it by hand, but now they have by machine. So uh, it doesn't happen. Well, as much I would say. Golly, look at all that dirt rooster love going on the Mr. Ed channel. Gee whiz! All right, so this is a letter. I got this letter yesterday, and it is from England, the UK. And here's the little card they sent. And it is from Andy and Zoe at DB's Apiaries in the UK. And they write, here are some labels to stick on your wall. We watch your YouTube videos and like to play Find the Queen with you. Hey, Randy, maybe you could like join me again and I can give you another lesson on finding the queen. We've got an abbey near us, Buckfast. This was Buckfast Bees. It is different to what you do. I actually got a label from somebody that's associated with the Buckfast Abbey, and that's another Benedictine abbey, which is the same group of monks here, Benedictines, and they actually said that they are kind of going away from their original bees, the Buckfast bees, and they're going into a more natural way of beekeeping. So interesting developments. And then they finish by saying, wishing you a fabulous beekeeping season from Andy and Zoe at DB's Apiaries in the UK. And here are the labels, and there's a bunch of them that they sent me. Look at that pretty. This is beautiful artwork on that. DB's Apiaries in Yennington. And this is summer honey. Here's some infused with rosemary honey. Sorry, get my fingers getting in there. Some infused honey with chili and ginger. Boy, I bet that's an interesting tasting one. And then some more of their labels for different size jars. Wow, 5 of them. And what I try to do when you send me more than one label, I try to get them all in one of those cells. That way, keep all of your labels together, and it'd be a little bit easier for you to spot them. So, Zoe, thank you so much for the letter and the labels. That's greatly appreciated. It's going to look really, really good on the wall. Hey, look at that clay burner. Good morning. Jeff, do most Benedictine monasteries have honeybees? I know there's a lot of them that do. There's one in Oklahoma that they have. I think they have like 400 hives. They actually bring their bees out to California. So keeping bees, monks have been keeping bees almost since the beginning of monasticism, which dates back 1800 years. So it's a very common thing, very common practice, because it's in alignment with their way of thinking of being self-sufficient, these communities being self-sufficient. So beekeeping is a very natural part of that. Does boiling your bee wax in your kettle harm the wax? No, I mean, I actually boil it. I know it's probably not recommended, but I see no harm in doing it. And the only reason I let it boil is because I'm not standing over it. I suppose that wax melts at 145 degrees, but I throw so much in there that I get hot pockets. And so I almost have to let it boil to make sure all of the wax melts, and then I can render it. Always sunny in California. Maybe put weed in them with a name like No Bees. Come on. I don't think so. Mr. Dread Lobster. Wow, it's been a long time. Now he came and visited me at the Abbey. I think he was coming back from a visit in his brother, I think in Atlanta, and he's going back to Texas. Him and his fiance, actually, y'all might be married at this point. But he came and visited me at the Abbey. I hope you have been having a blessed day. It's always a blessed day at the Abbey. Is everyone safe after the snowstorm? Yeah, the cold weather, that snow, I think it really it's beneficial because it's such a short period of time. It knocks out a bunch of bad things, and I think the bees will bounce right back out of it. Susan Alexander had a tea room birthday celebration with friends this week, and they served infused honey varieties. Wow. Yeah, I've got several bottles of infused honey in the gift shop. In fact, there's probably one or two up on my shelf right there. Nothing wrong with infused honey. It's good stuff. Ron White. Hello, Mr. Red. 45 in Iowa. Be safe and God be with you. Thank you. Thank you, Ron. Gary Stewart says, working bees is just like meditating. I agree. I also like to, when I'm bottling honey, that's a very contemplative time for me as well. It's, just pouring honey. It's just nice. Dave Griffith from Ireland. Good morning. So did y'all get married, Mr. Dread Lobster, or are y'all still fiancéing? Poor man's fertilizer. Highland honey. Good morning. Misty. I didn't see that. I didn't see you on there before. Good morning. She says, Benedictine monks make Buckfast wine in the UK at Buckfast Abbey. I did know that. I had one day planned to go to Buckfast to visit it, but man, that's just so far away. I don't think it'll ever happen. Let's see. Do I have next one? That's a good one, Amber. It's not working bees, it's wrangling bees. You're right. So the next one is from Dan Wright in Conway, MA. I don't know where MA is either. I'm sorry. Is that Maine? Maybe. Hey, Mark. Happy to have you on. And Misty, thanks for dropping in. Misty, you're in Wales. Is that where you are? Or Ireland? I can't remember. Massachusetts. Thank you, Bryce. So this one is from Dan Wright in Massachusetts. And he says, Jeff, I appreciate your videos and the positive outlook you share on life. This life is a gift. Amen to that. Dan W. And here are the labels for Dan's honey. Hives to Home, Conway, Massachusetts. Is the other one. He sent me two of them. Let's see if I get it right. There you go. Thank you, Dan. Thank you very much. James Camplin from Norfolk, the UK. Ireland in Dublin, waiting for the rugby battle against the smelly English. Dave Griffith, my friend recently gave me a bottle of mead. Nice taste, but you wouldn't have more than a glass. Did you ever try to make it? Several of the monks over the years have really been on me to make mead, but in my opinion, I don't drink alcohol. I don't even like the taste of it. So I've always just said no, no, no. And so I'll continue to say no, no, no. It just doesn't interest me. And in my opinion, it's like there's a lot better uses for honey than putting it in mead. That's just my opinion. So you're not married yet, okay? Thank you. So Woobling B says, I recently gave a bottle of meat to our HR department. I hope that was mead. All right, let's see. We got another one. Third batch, my goodness. Thank you, Chelsea, for the reminder. Now this one, this one's from my buddy Darren Jerome. He lives in Oklahoma, right outside of Oklahoma City, I think, Newcastle. And I've been knowing Darren for a long time. He's one of my original subscribers, and he is now he now has his own YouTube channel. One second, Mr. Vampy. Hey, Mr. Ed, have been here for a long time. Glad to catch a live stream. Oh, I'm glad you're here too. So Darren has his own YouTube channel that I would highly recommend you go checking out, and it is called Jerome Bee Farm. Here's his YouTube channel, Jerome Bee Farm, and here's the. Let me read you the letter. And I didn't pay Darren; he just said this on his own. Darren says, "Hey Jeff, it was super cool to finally meet you in person at the Navi. Man, what a fun time that was. I agree. And I'm so glad I went and was able to meet you and talk for a bit. We probably could have talked for hours, but I didn't want to take up too much of your time. You know, being you're such a big celebrity and all." Yeah, right. It was fun to sign your quilt piece. Oh, that's right. Darren did sign that. And I think you mentioned you wanted some labels as well. Enclosed are a couple of my new labels and a new business card as well. We are trying to recall how many years we've been friends, and I look back my first beekeeping video where I did a cutout, and on an old turn of the century prairie home, it was April of 2017. That's how far back we go, which means we started talking earlier than that when I binge watched your channel and commented on every one. So that means it's been 8 years we've been corresponding and chatting on live streams. Sometime soon, I definitely need to pilgrimage down to the Abbey and pay my homage to the Stainless Palace. So that's what Darren calls our honey house, the Stainless Palace. P.S. I was going to send you a Jerome Bee Farm t-shirt too, but I don't have any extra smalls. Well, that extra small would fit the dirt rooster though. Keep watching. I'll be watching. No, keep on watching. I'll be watching. Keep making more. From Studio B, Darren Jerome, COO, CFO, and Master Beekeeper at Jerome Bee Farm, Newcastle, Oklahoma. And here are Darren's labels from his honey jars. That's one of them. Beautiful, Darren. Beautiful. And here's the other one. Whoops. Awesome looking. Look, he's even got YouTube on his label. Mr. Ed ought to do that. Thanks so much, Darren. Thank you. And let's see. Tar Heel Beekeepers, good morning. Smoking Joe says, I've been watching Mr. Ed for 7 years, but still haven't gotten the nerve to getting my first box yet. Yeah, well, I do have a tendency to scare people off of beekeeping. I'd have to say that. All right, let's see. We got one more letter. Oh no, this isn't this. Oh, this isn't a label. This is a Mr. Vimpy says, I almost won the used bee suit. I raffled off the one of my old bee suits long time ago, and the person that won it, they actually built a case for it and put it in there on their wall. Misty, thank you for joining us this morning. So this is the last letter that I got, and it is from Dot Miller, and it's not her label. Actually, I got her label last year. In fact, I showed all that stuff last year. This year, she sent me a letter and requested to purchase some honey. And she says, "Dear Mr. Ed, I so enjoy your videos and would like to support the Abbey. Enclosed is a check for 6 bottles and shipping. Would you do me a favor of signing each bottle, as I want to give them as gifts to my fellow beekeepers who also love your videos? Depending on who you use for shipping, my addresses are this. Sincerely and thank you, Jesus, Dot Miller." In fact, oh, and she goes more. "I'm part of the Merrimack Valley Beekeepers Association in New Hampshire. We sent you our labels, our photos, and some honey. And my label is Nice Bees Apiaries." So this is one of the honeys that Dot sent me. Nice Bees Apiaries. So yes, Dot, I'll be getting your honey in the mail this week. I promise. I promise I will. So let's see what else. um, let's see. I will make comment on the snow, the cold that we got last week. It's not really going to make any difference to our bees. They all did fine. Um, and I this week I had gone out uh, because I've got too many hives. I don't have the equipment to do splits on all our hives. I think we have like about 100 and somewhere between 170 and 180 hives. Good morning, Hanley's Homestead. Um, and I just don't have the equipment, and I don't have the desire to have 300 hives. So uh, I have to sell hives. I have to sell them. So this week, I'm actually selling like 40 of them, and I sold 5 of them this week, and these are the first ones that I sold. And so Charlie and I went to go move the boxes, and we did make a video, and more than likely I'll post it. I don't know yet because we had problems with our lift, and it actually broke one of those. The dolly lift broke the winch on it. Something it broke, and so we had all kind of issues, but we did finish moving the 5 hives to the new location, and we did shoot video, and it opened it up. The opening of the video was I was just opening up, taking off the telescope and covers, popping them up a little bit, and on the inner covers you could see all the bees around the hole of it. And I just want to show you that they were just fine. Some of them. So I went down the whole line real quick, and then I said, "Charlie, get the camera. Let's show these bees." And unfortunately, when I started lifting them up again, boy, the bees were coming out, and they didn't sting us, but they sure wanted to. They didn't like us going in there. And so we shot that video uh, on that. So the bees all are doing really great. I know next week, if we get some cold weather, I've got man, I probably got 30 more of them to get rid of. Look at that, Harry. How are you? I'm glad you made it. Harry was one of those guys. Retire, man. He was one of those guys that almost won the bee jacket, and he lives right here in Covington. Big dog Ron, good morning. Wow, now look, Ron, and everybody else. So the first Saturday of the month, I'm going to be going live, unless like next. So this is February. So today's February 1st. So Saturday, the first Saturday, we went live. So then the next first Saturday in March, unfortunately, I won't be able to go live. And the reason being, I think, hey, let me see. Let me make sure. I think that I am going to be, yeah, because March 1st would be the first Saturday of next month. And and I will be in Pueblo, Colorado. I'll be at the Pueblo, Colorado Beekeepers Association conference. It's a one-day conference. I'll be flying into Colorado Springs on the 28th, and then the conference starts on. It's just a one-day conference on the 1st. So any of you all that are watching that are in that area um, around Pueblo, or I know Denver's kind of far from there, Colorado Springs. I'll be there for the whole that first of March. So hopefully I'll be able to see a bunch of you, and we'll do the first Saturday of the month live broadcast on this following Saturday, which will be what, the 8th. So that one we won't be on the 1st, but the first Saturday of every month I will be going live. So Ron, no excuses. Just put it on your calendar. First Saturday of the month. Let's see. We've been on for an hour, so an hour and 21 minutes. So we'll kick it off at do 10 more minutes, and then we'll call it quits for the day. So I don't have anything else on the table to show you. So look at that, Craig. Craig, I did finally get the canna lily bulbs. Your label though, that did not make it. It got wet, and so if you can, you'll need to send me another label so I can get it up on the wall. Andrew Murray, good morning. That's how I'll make that trade with you, Fire Tower. I'll make the trade. Look, contact me. Go and find my email and contact me through that, and we'll get all that hooked up. I'd love to be sporting your t-shirt. I've got a couple people send me their t-shirts. I wore one last month. That was from Dr. B's, I think. So I do love wearing the t-shirts that other people send me. The only t-shirt that I won't wear, just because it just gripes me too much, is a 628 Dirt Rooster t-shirt. I don't promote any of his merch at all, because he just doesn't deserve it. Well, remind me what happened. Tell everybody how when I showed up at your Bee Club meeting, you got irritated, left. Oh yeah, so remember earlier I told you that JW and Tom came and visited us Thursday. It was 2 weeks ago, and it just by chance happened that the Franklinton Club had their meeting that night, and so Tom and JW and I we went up to the meeting, and when we were up there, the Dirt Rooster, he got wind that I was going to be there, and Tom was going to be there, and JW was going to be there, and world famous Mike Barry and Joey Rouse, all those people up there. So he had to come crash that little meeting, and he came in, and as soon as he came in, I said, well, it was 7:30 and I had to go. So I said, I'm leaving. Oh, and that's another thing, Craig, that I'm glad you reminded me of that. I'll be in Conroe, Texas, and I'll talk about that next month. In April, I'll be in Conroe, Texas, speaking out there. So I'll talk more about that next month. Good morning, Brian. Good morning. Randy, what else you got to say? Come on, because we ain't got much more time. You can have the floor I'll give you the floor for 1 minute. Yeah, but Randy, when I go home, that's when everybody starts going on anyway, because I got to get home early. Chelsea, don't say poor old Dirt Rooster. Jason, you came back just because the rooster was here. That's terrible. Good morning, Mark. I lost 2 hives, and my neighbor lost 4 hives. He has been having hives for, well, 100 miles to the east. Are you in Mississippi, or are you in Alabama? And it depends really, the height, because we're really almost subtropic down here, where I am. So our bees, it's just warmer down here, and I don't know how cold it gets by you, Mark. I really don't. Tell us more about Conroe, Texas. Actually, Conroe, Texas is where my wife is from. That's where her kids live out there. Um, she's got all her friends. That's where her business was. Mona loves going to Conroe, Texas. So when I told her we'll be going in April, oh, she was made her day, made her day. What part of Mississippi, Barn? Oh, Randy, you got kind of quiet on us. What were you trying to think of something to say? People should start buying their bees from the Abbey. I've never lost a hive that bought there. Now I don't have that many hives to sell. I only sell, and I just don't have enough to sell to people. And I sell them, really, it's through the clubs that I go to. That's the only people that I sell them to, and that's, to me, is the best way to do it, for me at least. Yeah, I know Conroe's a little bit distance for you. Okay, I know that, but man, you ought to try to make it out there. The Dirt Rooster's actually gonna breakfast spaghetti, man, that's awesome. The Dirt Rooster's gonna be out the same place where I'm going. World famous Mike Barry is gonna be talking there in March, and Randy is going to be talking. I can't remember when he's supposed to talk, but that's Ed and Julie at Winding Creek Bee Supply House is where it is in Conroe, Texas. Andrew, good morning. And Andrew is an old time beekeeper in the UK, and he's also a member of my channel. So thanks for that, Andrew. Thank you. March 8th, that's when the Dirt Rooster is going to speaking out there. And I know world famous. So he's March, I'm April. So Mike must be speaking there in February. Yeah, see you in February. So February it's at Winding Creek Bee Supply in Conroe, Texas. Mike Barry is going to be there in February. The Dirt Roosters will be in March, and I'm going to be in April. Those people are getting a great lineup of speakers, and it's I forget what Ed told me. It's their Saturday morning sit and whittle, something like that, get together. And he said sometimes they'll have up to 100 people show up to this, and it's just beekeepers talking at the shop. It's really a nice little venue. Conroe made me think of Harold Jenkins, who changed his name and based it on the town of Conway, Arkansas. And yeah, I knew that story about Conway Twitty. And I know Conway, Arkansas, because when I would go up to Arkansas, I'd pass through Conway, which is right outside of Little Rock, all the time. Do you ever come to South Carolina? Oh, speaking of that, I'm almost certain that both Randy and I are supposed to be speaking in Columbia, South Carolina. I think it's in July. I think so. Check out the South Carolina Beekeepers Association and see when that is. But we're supposed to be speakers there. I sure will, Chelsea. Chelsea says, I hope you pass along our love to Good Time Charlie and Wreck-It Ralph. I will, though. Yeah, you need to ask Mike about his name, world famous Mike Barry, because Mike's a very humble guy, so he'll be sure to share, I'm sure. Yeah, okay, we don't need to be working anymore, do we? Well, Mr. Lobster, I hope you're going to make that thing, make the little conference. John Budd, why was there no Fred Dunn, Dirt Rooster, Mr. Ed talk again this year at Nobby? Well, Fred talked and Randy talked, but I asked him if I didn't have to talk, and he said, "No, you just show up." So that's what I did. That was John. I tell you, that was lightning in a bottle when me, the Dirt Rooster, and Fred got to talk. And I hope you were able to see Dirt Rooster's talk as well as Fred's talk, because they were both great talks. Fred is just such a character. I don't want to talk about Randy. He's a character, but in a bad way. Fred is a character in a good way. Bubba, my mom passed away in August. I took care of her, and she really enjoyed your videos. We watched them together. Please pray for her. What's her name, Bubba? So I will. Because when I lived with my mom for 14 years, 13 years for sure, and man, it was just an awesome, awesome time living with her. How bad did beekeepers in South Carolina do with the hurricane flood? I don't know. I don't know. Well, the only reason Mike and Joey didn't join in today, because I know. Thank you, Bubba. I want to write that down. I'll be sure to add her name. Thank you, Bob. But Mike and Joey are on the road. They are going. Where is it in Alabama? They're on a road trip today to pick up equipment. So that's the only reason they didn't join in this morning. I know that. Look at that. You got other people praying for her too now, Bubba. So that's an awesome thing. Amber Smith, you sound just like Winnie the Pooh sometimes when you laugh. Mr. Ed, your mom saying wrangling was awesome. That's one of the videos. Well, I always remember about my mom. Of course, a lot of them, but we were going checking swarm traps, and she would just say all this off the wall stuff. And I say, "Mom, you got anything to say?" And she go, "Yeah, let's go wrestling." And it's like, "No, Mom, not wrestling. It's wrangling." It's just pure mom. And my most favorite video, and if ever y'all want to watch a video of my mom, go to 95-year-old grandma opening up a silver play button. And it's my mom opening up when I got the silver play button from YouTube. She opens it up. It's just hilarious about mom and doing what she's doing. I haven't seen their talks yet. I don't think they've been posted yet. Any spotted lanternflies in your area? No, I don't know any about lanternflies. I don't know anything about that. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, DC, that he needs to be on the fellowship prayer list. I agree. So I'll be starting the splitting mid-February. I'll start going into the hives and looking to see if they're ready. So get ready for the split videos because they're coming. I'm glad that Leslie was able to watch the videos of Bubba. That's so awesome when I hear the stories of people that don't keep bees that watch my videos. They just like them. So I'm happy I could do that for her. Dennis Barry says, talking about my mom. I've seen her in your videos, and she smiles as much as you do. Very nice. Look, well, that's what I think. All of her children, all six of us, we all got mom's smile. So it's a really great thing. All right, so it's now an hour and 34 minutes into it. So, folks, I've got things to do this morning, still yet to do. Um, I'll be posting that video on the observation hive for the uh, for that external colony it won't be next week, but it'll be the week after for sure. So I want to make sure to let y'all know about it, as well as in that video, we'll be going into the honey house and showing the labels on the wall. So that's all I got for you on this one. Thanks for watching. Keep on watching, and I will be making more. God bless everybody. Thank y'all for being here.